Now, tensions between Nigeria and the UK Conservative leader, Kemi Badenoch, have escalated, with both sides trading sharp criticisms in the wake of ongoing diplomatic disputes. The British politician, who has previously voiced criticism over Nigeria's handling of economic and political issues, responded to Nigeria's condemnation, reaffirming her position on the need for improved transparency and accountability in Nigerian leadership. She has also emphasized the UK's commitment to holding international partners to higher standards of governance. The war of words, which has spanned several weeks, reached a new high after Badenoch's recent comments at a UK parliamentary debate, where she suggested that some African nations, including Nigeria, have not sufficiently embraced democratic reforms. In response, Nigerian officials have reiterated their country's sovereignty, dismissing Badenoch's criticisms as unwarranted and dismissing her claims as out of touch with the realities on the ground. They argue that the UK, facing its own domestic challenges, should focus more on resolving its internal issues rather than commenting on other nations' policies. Well, for a conversation on the continued exchange of brickbats between Nigeria and UK Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch and the need for both parties to build bridges, we are now joined by Arise News analyst Dayo Sobowale. Mr. Dayo Sobowale, good afternoon and welcome to the program.
It's a pleasure being here, Suja.
Great. What is your take on the back and forth that we currently see and some of the statements that are being made by, specifically by Kemi Badenoch?
Right. Let me start by saying that I'm very proud of Kemi Badenoch. The father was a friend of mine, and you see, I would say she's her father's daughter. The father was a medical doctor, but very much interested in politics. And he used to take me on personally on any current issue, because I was a columnist there. So, and you should not take what Badenoch is saying out of context. And let me tell you a bias that I have. I'm Yoruba, she's Yoruba. I take exception to someone like the vice president telling her that she should remove her name, Kemi. I do not like that. And I take exception again to the presidential spokesman saying that she's demarketing or denigrating Nigeria. See, we should not personalize or ethnicize what is on the ground. I say again that I'm very proud of her, that a citizen of a former colonial country is aspiring to be the Prime Minister of England, not like Sunak did. She's entitled to her opinion. And she's entitled to talk of her experience. She did not grow out in a vacuum or drop from the skies. And Nigeria is not utopia. Read Nigerian newspapers. They say far worse things about Nigeria, and they are not demarketing Nigeria. They are trying to be hard so that the situation can improve. So on that score, I try to be objective on this topic, but I tell you, I have a soft spot for her, and I'm very proud of her with her achievement. And I pray she becomes Prime Minister of our former colonial master. That will be a great achievement. That's my take for now.
I can't say that I'm actually very elated by your statements defending Kemi and her experiences, because those are her experiences, and she has a right to express them, as you rightly said. Yeah. Now, of course, we're seeing this back and forth coming from the Vice President, like you rightly outlined. What would you like to see in terms of the substance of what she's saying being addressed on ground, as opposed to the attack on the person or the messenger?
Let the Nigerian officials get something to do and leave her alone. She's not aspiring to be president of Nigeria. She's aspiring to be Prime Minister of Great Britain or another island, whatever they call themselves. So let her be. But you see, she's a Nigerian. If occasions come and they tell her about her experience, I know part of what she's trying to narrate. You see, the father had the clinic. He was on at Surulere, it was on Miss Healing. But you see, the economic times were bad, just as they are now. You get me? So the clinic literally collapsed and so on. So she had to go to Britain. And this is a 45-year-old lady. She just spent 16 years in Britain, and she's aspiring to the highest office there. So when some people are saying there was institutional racism in Britain, she said no. If there is such racism, she's black. How could she have come to the top of the Conservative Party, which is the conservative side of the system? And she's an extraordinary person. When she said she wanted to do medicine, and she told some people, they said, you should try and be a nurse. When she said she wanted to join Conservative Party, they said, no, the party of your type of people is Labour. But the rest is history now. So that's an exceptional person. Let the presidential spokesman and Nigerian leaders face the Nigerian problems. We are all neck deep in. We criticize them far more than Badenoch, even here. So let us solve our own problems here, and leave the Nigerian-born prospective British Prime Minister alone.
All right, so I can see you're certainly speaking from a place of passion around this issue.
Yes.
But, when this whole back and forth started, I referred back to one of my favorite thinkers. He's not quite a philosopher, Frantz Fanon, who wrote Blackface, White Mask.
That's
and
right.
he believed that colonialism was a psychological project.
Mm-hmm.
And, to cut a long story short, he just said that the colonial masters would use we black people to fight ourselves, other black people. So a lot of people are saying what Kemi Badenoch is doing comes across a lot as Fanonism.
That's an exaggeration. You see, don't reduce it to racism. That was how the Americans, the Democratic Party, used the woke culture, critical race theory, saying they are fighting on behalf of black people, and they lost the election in the US. Do you get me? Africans can fight for themselves. Let us see the positive side of our people. I mean, the British they put out there, they saw our color. Get you now? They saw our color, and they looked at her achievements. She's an engineer and a lawyer, and she has occupied important positions. You see, the Nigerian people, it's not even the Nigerian leadership criticizing her. It's just some people who have gone out of their way to be trying to pester her with some things, and they should be careful. It can become an ethnic issue.
But is it a fair strategy for her to attack Nigeria?
She's not attacked. That's malapropism now. She's talking of her experience. Is she not allowed to talk of her experience? And are you living in utopia here? You are so happy with the questions you ask me every time? Please, there's no utopia anywhere. Okay. And Badenoch did not come from utopia. She was born here, raised here, and she said she suffered there. Yes, she can always tell her story. Let's live with that and leave her alone.
Of course, Mr. Sobowale. In spite of these tensions, the United Kingdom remains one of Nigeria's largest foreign investors. I'm just wondering if you think there might be any economic risks that might come as a result of this diplomatic row.
There is no diplomatic row at all between Nigeria and Britain. You see, some people are taking personal attack on this Nigerian-born leader of opposition of the UK. There's no diplomatic problem between the Nigerian government, and don't mix these things up. Some people are voicing their opinion, and it can never, ever affect diplomatic relationship between. Look, let me give you an example that will alarm you now. Okay. Supposing our president is discussing somewhere, and he was talking of his experience and the things he suffered in Nigeria. He said that, and he tells people, if I have not said Emilohon, I will not have been president. Will you say it's denigrating or demarketing Nigeria? He's talking of his experience, and we know the context. So let's show understanding, and let's admire what we should admire, and face our business when we should face our business. Sam?
This has opened a bigger conversation around patriotism. And if us sharing our negative experiences of our countries in a public space, when we're given these big platforms and we use those opportunities to share, of course, they are our experiences, but our negative experiences, does it make us unpatriotic?
at all. I've answered you.
You don't want to unpack that. No, because some people would say that patriotism means that
all
when you're on a public...
The sessions we have here, are we on patriotic?
No.
The questions we ask each other, you ask me, are you on patriotic?
So,
it's to make the system better. It's dialogue. You get to know, if they ask of our experience, and she tells an experience that is not palatable to some people, that does not make her unpatriotic. Patriotism is love of your nation. She has never said she's changing her nationality because of her experience. Has she ever said that? She still bears her name. You know, some people are provoking her by saying she should change her Yoruba name.
Some people would say the manner in which she speaks is maybe not constructive to the issues.
Look, she speaks, how do I put it? Queen's English. And she's passionate. You should watch her and question time on Wednesday.
I certainly do. I enjoy it.
You will enjoy her. I'm proud of her. I say that again without any equivocation.
Well, as we round up, I think just in 1 minute, I'm going to make it a bit personal. Since you've prophesied that Kemi will likely be the Prime Minister, please,
hopefully.
What do you think you see in our future?
In our future?
Yes.
You'll be legislators.
Okay.
What's wrong with that?
Amen.
No, not bad.
So you can know our problems better.
That works just fine. Mr. Dayo Sobowale, Rising Analyst, thank you so much, especially because you've narrated your own personal connection with Kemi Badenoch. We appreciate your time and analysis, as always. Thank you for joining us.